This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Kawhi.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Just Nuggets Podcast. Playoff season, baby. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Doc?
That's what I love to hear. Christoph, how you living today?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's playoff season. It's the time where names get remembered.
You excited?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the birds are chirping from the last time we discussed and got on this pod. I think we're in a totally different space. So, I mean, hope springs eternal right now. And that's all, Yep. Here we go.
It's April 18th. The Nuggets play tomorrow. They got their matchup. The Nuggets made it last time we talked. 4-5 matchup. So we're going to be playing a home game at Ball Arena tomorrow. They're playing the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's break down this a little bit. What's your thoughts? What are your just opening thoughts about the matchup? And then we'll get into the more X factors, player by player kind of breakdown. What's your overall just thoughts on it? Well, I'll start with Jays.
Yeah. First of all, I'm excited. I'm excited for Adelman. This be his first, as a coach, a real deal coach, head coach, in the playoffs. I think he's going to, harken back to all the experience he's had with the playoff series that we actually won and became champions. He's got to learn something from that. And then we heard him talk about on a press conference that he has been working with the youngins. That was his job as an assistant. So he knows those, a lot of the bench people and maybe, they have that relationship that he can draw something out of them when he puts them in the game, those that will get in. And then, of course, he knows the starters, Joker and Jamal and AG and MPJ well. So I think he'll do great. I think they're really more nervous about him than they really should be. I'm not nervous about it. I think the Nuggets have everything they need to win it all. Now, will they show up? Will we still be healthy? Will they play their best? We'll talk about who we think going on in this podcast that needs to just show up and play their best. But I think they have enough. I really do. And so that's how I feel about it. I'm excited.
Well, I think the Clippers, they're they've only lost 2 games since March 12th. They are the hottest team coming into the playoffs right now. They have a healthy Kawhi, healthy Harden, Norman Powell, Zubac having his best season. Probably, I went back and listened to some old episodes of the Just Nuggets podcast, and we were talking about who's going to be most improved. No one said Zubac, but Zubac probably will win that this year because he's playing very well. And I already hear the murmurings about how he defends Jokic the best one-on-one.
I know.
Is
that something else?
That's the greatest Jokic stopper.
Yeah, I mean, he's the next one up. They're well coached by a championship winning head coach in Tyronn Lue. The Nuggets have yet to win in their new arena, the Clippers' new arena, the Intuit Dome. They just opened this season. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can look at it and say this is a tough matchup, but at the end of the day, it's a 4-5. Like these two teams both have this identical records. The Clippers beat them 3 out of 4 games, or they split the season series. So I see this being a hard-fought playoffs. It's the first time they're going to be in the playoffs without Mike Malone's steady, air quote, steady hand leading them. And it's going to be all the burden's going to be pushed onto David Edelman now to make those in-game adjustments and those game-to-game adjustments. And can he go tit for tat with the championship level coach? We'll see, to a much lower degree. The first playoff series that Malone went in against was against Pop, And what I remember, that was a 7-game series, and Pop kept his team, even though it was a 2-7 matchup. They were talent-wise were inferior to the Nuggets that series. But they took them 7 because Pop was able to call timeouts when they went on the runs, to make adjustments, throw different looks at that young Nuggets team. And he coached circles around Malone in 2019. So if that occurs with Tyronn Lue, they have the advantage on Tyronn Lue from the coaching standpoint.
Yeah, I agree
And
with that.
I'll open it up, but I think we'll have the best player in the world. We have the best player in the world. We have the best player on the court, and normally that's enough. But they have Harden, they have a healthy Kawhi, and they have the role players and the depth.
Norman
So
Powell.
Norman Powell and Derrick Jones Jr. So we'll see. It's gonna be tough. It's a 4-5 matchup. This could go either way. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil my prediction, even though I'm pretty sure you guys can guess which way I'm leaning. But yeah.
I enjoyed that we are playing we're a younger team, right? They have Kawhi, so I would love to see how Kawhi plays in a 7-game series when we're gonna be playing 45 minutes per night, you know what I'm saying, on other day rest, like 1 day rest. I think that's gonna matter. See, when we talk about health standpoint of him, he's a kind of a question mark on how he's gonna play in this performance. I guess you can make the same case for Jamal, even though I think from all accounts, people are saying Jamal's in the playing the healthiest he's been mostly this whole season. When you look at the kind of the matchups one by one, Jokic, they're going to try to play Zubac on him straight up game one, I'm guessing, just to see how it looks. I think Jokic is going to eat him for lunch because, again, if Jokic is hearing the same thing that we've heard throughout the media this week, that Zubac is this new Jokic stopper and he's the defensive player of the year, Joker's going to take offense to that. And then also when you think about the fact that Jokic had the best season of his career, not going to win MVP, he's going to be taking offense to that, right? When you hear that the Nuggets, 9 out of 10 people are saying the Nuggets aren't going to win this series and your coach is going to be gone next year and, you know, this is a, dead in the water season, Jokic's going to take offense to that, right? And you think about it even from a Jamal. Jamal's going to take offense when you're going against the Clippers and they're saying, "Oh, Norman Powell's going to light them up," right? So I think we have the championship pedigree to beat the Clippers. We beat this, not the same exact team. They've been different, but Kawhi was at the helm when we played them in the bubble. We beat them, right? And Kawhi was on the court, played in the games. The Nuggets' expectations in that series was definitely going to lose because the Clippers were the team to beat, was the team in the West to beat that year outside the Lakers, and they thought it was going to be a Lakers-Clippers finals. So we've seen this team. It's different, obviously. We've seen James Harden. We know what James Harden does. He's a great basketball player. Sometimes he has his playoff woes. I think he's going to be a lot better this year in the playoffs. He's a great facilitator. He gets his guys open. The main people I'm looking at and who we can stop is going to be Norman Powell, right? Because we know Kawhi is going to get his buckets and James Harden, they're going to ultimately do what they're going to do. Same way Jamal and Jokic are going to do what they're going to do. Who is going to be responsible and take pride in guarding Norman Powell? I would love to see Christian Braun enforce himself as a defender again this series. Even though Christian Braun's been really great offensively this year, if he can reestablish himself as a lockdown defender in this specific series against a Norman Powell, who easily goes for 30, who has gone against 30 against us in this same game over a couple times this season. Norman Powell is the person that has to get stopped, right? And then last part, and I'll kind of go around the horn again. My X factor in this series has to be Michael Porter. Michael Porter is the one that doesn't have a defensive stopper on him.
Yep.
He's the guy that literally should have 30 points a night. If I'm Adelman, I'm calling up first play of the game straight to Michael Porter because I want him to feel like he's involved in the offense. I said this again with Mike Malone. There was times where he did not bring Michael Porter into the offense, and he is the third guy of a scoring guy. Like we need him to be great.
Just to interject and let you finish that point or pass it to Jays. I know it's probably water under the bridge at this point, but like this is the same team, Michael Porter Jr., that passed on you twice on draft night because your back was iffy.
Yeah, whatever motivates
they didn't believe in you. And I don't know, like I said, it could be water under the bridge. You got your checks now. You won a championship. You've had success in this league, but like, I don't know, mate. I know how Kobe and Jordan would feel about that. They'd feel pretty slighted still. Like
they did pass him for SGA, funny enough, though.
But then
they traded him.
Hindsight 2020, yeah, that was a good move to pass on. But they don't. But they passed on him once. Yeah, the second
if they would have
time.
now think about it in an alternate universe, they get SGA and Michael Porter and kept those guys, this series will look a lot different.
They didn't get Paul George. It's not like Paul George brought them anything back in return,
No,
but
we talked about that. I think Paul George, there are some people in the NBA, you realize they are just bona fide hoopers, right?
Yeah.
They're not necessarily the leader, the dog, all that. KD and George and Devin Booker, those guys just give them the ball and hoop, right? But they're not necessarily like the Chris Pauls that can lead the whole team to make it a whole team, right? And Paul, I think what that team, what the Clippers lacked in 2020, which they don't lack this year, was the James Harden role, where the dude can just facilitate the whole offense. That team was really lacking in a ball dominant facilitator. That's why Zubac, as they've said this year, is having a great year, because James Harden is their pick and roll is it's not Jokic and Jamal, but it's one of the best ones in the NBA.
Yeah, I think all of those points are well established. The Clippers, they're better. Don't get me wrong. Kawhi is healthy, and he's Kawhi, and I'm not taking anything from him. But it depends on what that matchup is going to be. Who's going to guard him? AG, or are they going to put CB on him, or P Watt or something? And if he tries to do Jamal, I don't know why he would, but just in case, Jamal can run him because Kawhi is older. I'm gonna say that he's not old, but he's older, and he's just getting back healthy and back into it. And so I think this would be a task. I think it'd be a task for him. I think it'd be a task to get open if we just get in front of him and stay in front of him and then run him. If we need that, it needs to be a fast-paced game to make these people
So who's
tired.
your X factor?
On which side? On our side? I think Norman Powell I mean, not everybody knows him, but I think if you can keep him under 30 points, and we were talking about this, I think that Harden, if you can keep him under 30, Kawhi, if you keep him under 30, and Norman Powell, and if we play defense and keep the whole team under 108, I've heard that we win games at 108 and under, we're going to win them. We're going to win a lot of those games. But if you let them go off, or somebody goes off, or
Kawhi's gonna get his buckets. I think
but
Kawhi
has he been getting more than 30?
Yeah, he's been getting like 28 a game or something.
Okay.
I think Kawhi and James Harden are shoo-ins to get their buckets. So yeah, I just don't know if there's gonna be times where we're gonna. I think AG can have good moments against Kawhi, but I think Kawhi's gonna be able to do whatever he wants on the court. That's just Kawhi. He's Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
But
and same with James Harden. If James Harden wants to be aggressive against Jamal Murray, he's gonna get the bucket.
But here's the thing: it's not gonna be a one game thing. It's 4 games. They gotta win 4 games against the Nuggets. I mean that.
So who's your X factor again?
I think it's on the Nuggets. MPJ. I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to play well.
I think there's a point worth highlighting is that I believe they're the second best defensive team in the NBA.
Houston's the first, right? Or not?
No,
OKC. OKC. The offense. I'm sorry. Did you say?
I heard Clippers are number 1 in offense recently.
Yeah, they're top 5 in both. So they're scoring at a high clip, and they're
that makes sense because the other guy we didn't talk about, and he's the starter on that team, is Chris Dunn. They said Chris Dunn's a great defender. So they have 3 great defenders.
And Derrick Jones Jr. is a D&3 guy. He's got length. He can give a lot of issues. And he could be a matchup problem.
He's off the roll. He's off the bench.
Yeah, but he could still be a very tough. He's in their rotation, and he could be very tough if you allow him to start filling his game, and you let all of them get confident. That you put the Nuggets. The Nuggets are put in a very tough spot. And not to beat a dead horse, because I really do think this is a series for MPJ to assert himself,
Sure.
And since he's been a Nugget for the last 5-6 years, I don't think we've ever had a series where he asserted himself.
Right.
So if this is it, I hope so, but I will have to choose my X factor.
The closest we had was the last time he played the Clippers.
He did. We watched that game, just now. He was around.
I think that was Paul. That was Paul Millsap for me. I always say that. Paul Millsap is the reason that happened.
No, Paul Millsap. But remember, Michael Porter hit that corner 3. That was a huge 3.
Yeah,
he's absolutely. Do that. I think Paul Millsap saved, like Jamal saved that Utah series. Paul Millsap saved that Clipper series. But for me, the X factor this series, from the Nuggets standpoint, is Mr. Aaron Gordon.
Oh, really?
He's because on the defensive end, he's got to have to go against
Kawhi.
Harden or Kawhi Leonard. And as
Yeah.
Kyle just stated, as Dot just stated, it's Kawhi Leonard. You
Mhm.
know, this is a two-time Finals MVP. He's dealt with his injuries, but when he's on, like,
Yeah.
dude's top 5, top 10 in the world at playing the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
And that's what AG's gonna have to do on the defensive side of the ball, is contain and stop him. More so contain than stop, but contain him on the defensive side of the ball. Then on the offensive side of the ball, if he's able to continue to shoot the way that he's been shooting this season, but specifically since the All-Star break, and played offense at that level that he's been playing it of late, dropping 38 against the Warriors that last couple weeks ago, and then his games against Sacramento and Memphis of late. AG is going to have to be, if MPJ doesn't step up, I know that's my dark horse X factor. He will have to be that third scoring option. And for the Clippers, I'm saying Derrick Jones Jr. because Derrick Jones Jr. It's like when the floodgates open. Like if you let Harden and Kawhi get theirs, and Norman Powell, you're not stopping him, and Zubac's getting rebounds and playing good defense and blocking and containing Jokic, and now you got to deal with this dude coming off the bench and
Well, that's
hitting
what I say.
threes and
Let's
defending. Like that is where, like, if you let that, if it gets to the level where Derrick Jones Jr. is having a great series with all of them, the Nuggets are done.
Well, that's why I'm saying
You know what I mean?
let's switch to the bench, right? Because at the end of the day, the Nuggets starters are who they are. If they're not they're the number 2 best starting unit in the NBA right now. Only Boston, I think, is technically a better starting unit. So you're talking about the bench. You got Derrick Jones. You have Terrence Mann.
Yeah. You got
And they have Coffee.
Batum. They got
And they got
Batum.
Batum.
Yeah.
So they can throw mad wings and blah, blah, blah at us.
Yeah.
Our bench
Yeah.
for
We got
2
Russ.
years.
We got Russ.
We have Russ,
And
who might want some revenge on his old team.
yeah.
Hopefully.
And
I mean,
it's a DJ
they got
series
rid of
to
him
me,
last
too.
year because they talked about how bad he was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be nice for Russ to be
So,
like, not even to show, but just also kind of dominate in any way he can.
yeah.
That'd be great. Like,
Yeah, the thing
I'm not
is,
hating
like,
on Russ. I'm just literally saying, like, if this would be the moment for Russ to kind of take over a series, like if you're saying that Michael Porter and Russ
Yeah, same.
DJ.
both have revenge, there should have some taste of revenge in this game.
I'm saying, like, trust me, like, Russ, you've never won a championship. You
Yeah.
came to Denver to win a championship. Like I know you were at the WNBA final draft, and you was over there with old girl from Virginia Tech that went to Kentucky. I forget her name off the top of my head. Georgia Amore. You was hanging out with her. You was having time. You was talking panels and all that stuff. And I saw Nuggets Twitter starting to be like, "Yo, why is he there? Not in the gym practicing, yada yada yada." And I know you're also the guy who's like, "At least we have fun." But like, let's win a championship. So to your point, like MPJ and Russ, they passed on you, MPJ, and they told you, Russ, that you are done. We won't even pay you vet minimum.
That's what they said.
And
then here's another one. Peyton Watson. He's from LA.
Yeah.
Does he want to show anything? Like, do I want to beat my city? Like, hopefully there's something there for Peyton Watson too.
Yeah.
Because Peyton Watson's gonna have to do all the dirty work, like guarding Derrick Jones, Derrick Jones, guarding Terrence Mann, guarding Bogdanovich. We even talk about Bogdanovich, which is like another nightmare. I mean, the Nuggets, when it comes, their bench is gonna flat out kill us. When we start thinking about the ins and outs, their bench is gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Bad.
But then
we know
if you want to
this.
do a microscope of, here's the thing: to win a championship, there's so many people you're gonna have to deal with the best benches in the NBA. You know, because they get out this round. Now you gotta go deal with OKC or whoever's the A seeds bench. Then you gotta go deal with whomever comes out. If it's Minnesota, Golden State, Lakers, Memphis, Dallas. You have to deal with everyone's best bench, let alone who comes out the East.
Yeah.
Unless you see the Knicks.
This
The Knicks don't have a bench at all.
This playoffs,
like,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, that final point on it. It's like the bench is gonna be an issue until it's not an issue. It's just how the team's constructed, you know? And if we continue to highlight that, that's the issue. It's going to be those rotations that Adelman sits out there, and Jalen Pickett. I think Jalen Pickett could have a great series.
I think so
And
too.
that's growth. That's growth. Because I went back and I listened to a few old episodes, and I was talking about that dude.
Oh, he was tough
And
on
and rightfully so. I still not the biggest Pickett fan, but those
played
three
some good
threes
ball.
he hit, those 3 threes he hit versus was that Memphis or Sacramento? One of the two. It was just so confident. He stepped into it and he's playing a good role for this team. And I'm not saying he's Bruce Brown. I'm not saying he's, Vashawn Leonard. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
he's something off the bench that gives credence and some stability. And I think that's good.
So, because this matchup is going to be, I think David Adelman's going to play such a big role in this series. Do you think his lineups and his roster is a better suit for this series than a Michael Malone who keeps his rosters very tight? Or do you think, because I think one of the things that killed us against Minnesota last year was that Malone's 7-guy roster, even though our bench wasn't good last year, it's not good this year, did kill us in those moments where Jokic and them needed a break in game 7 or blah, blah, blah. Do you think that we're going to need to have those moments where guys play those 5-6 minutes? Or, I mean, it's going to be like 3 to 5, but those Reggie Jackson minutes, do you think that's going to make a difference?
Boy. It's going to have to. I think everybody better be on their A game and bring it now for the next 16 games. That's all I'm
I mean, do you think his rotation is going to be a larger rotation than we might have saw with like a Mike Malone, like where it's like
Yes.
Mike Malone would have been 7 guys, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then with the wars out, and by the time we get to a quote unquote, I'm using this from the last time, Minnesota type team, we're going to be so tired. Yes, I think that Edelman learned.
So you think Strother will
I
play
think
some
Strother
minutes?
may see a few minutes. I think DJ will see a few minutes. I think Pickett will see a few minutes. But those are the only ones, other than the starting 5 and Russ and P. Watt.
Yeah.
I think he's going to use just those. He'll use Strother very minimally. I doubt that, and he'll DJ for sure. I think you'll see, and Pickett.
I think Strother has a chance because of the way they have all these guards.
Yeah.
They have all these guards.
And he may hit a 3 or 2 or 3, and he needs to throw plenty of people in there while Joker's out. Now he won't play them with the starters, I hope, too much.
No. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's never gonna not be a starter in any given
That
team.
was a 10-man
starters.
rotation you just said.
I'm sorry?
You just put out a 10-man rotation.
I think he's going to use 10 guys. All right. Rotation is I don't want to go there. He's going to use Pickett and Strother
10 bodies.
sparingly.
10 bodies.
10 bodies. Let's say that. I don't think, there may be some games they don't see the court,
Pickett's gonna get more playing time than Strothard.
Yes, I agree.
Because my thing, I was looking at Strothard's stats earlier in the week. Dude's only shooting like 32% from the field or from the 3-point arc, and I'm like, aren't you the shooter?
Strothard I think Strothard is. He's not going to play that much. Like
he's giving somebody a break. Like I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to hinge the Nuggets winning or losing a game, not let alone the series, a game. Hell, a quarter on Julian Strothard's his playing time.
Oh,
he's in there. He's in there to give. He's going to be in there to give somebody a break. That's what he's in there to give somebody a break.
Yes, that's why you say rotation. I cannot agree.
And to me,
if he hits a 3 or 2, or even gets to the free throw line, consider that those minutes he was on the court a win.
Yeah, I agree.
I think to shift a little bit towards the our not predictions, but just our thoughts on the whole series. I think the Nuggets have to win these first 2 games because of how loud and how crazy it gets in the Intuit Dome. Christoph, you made it. You made a mention of it earlier this pod. That stadium gets loud. It's designed with the wall to be a playoff atmosphere to give their team an advantage. The Nuggets have to win these first 2 games to put real pressure on the Clippers to win, to where that stadium gets a little bit more tight britches. You know what I mean? Like we have to put that pressure on them. So tomorrow's game is a must win and dominate. Like, we have to show that.
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue has to come out of that game tomorrow saying, I have to make adjustments.
Yeah.
For real, like real adjustments.
The
Nuggets have to put their foot down on that game.
And I mean, they have won 9 straight. it's tough in this league to win 10 straight.
Yeah, it is.
Remember when we discussed this. Like it's miraculous that this is still just Nuggets, but like that Cleveland had 2 15-game win streaks during the season. And like that's something like that's not common. You know what I mean? Like great teams are able to do that. And yes, they're in the East, and yes, yada yada yada, whatever. They shoot a lot of threes. But winning 10 games straight is tough.
Yeah.
So that I think favors the Nuggets in game 1.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do predictions?
No, but here's another thing.
We will.
What about and this is just now we're getting into the fandom and the weeds, but mid game, midday game. It's a midday game.
Yeah,
for
it's a
Nuggets
midday
too.
game. Well, we've won those lately too.
No, we haven't.
1:30.
We don't like Nuggets is not a good midday team.
The game that they had to win against Memphis was 1:30, I thought. No?
Memphis?
In the regular season. I'm reminding y'all back.
All I know is we lost to Boston midday. We lost to Lakers midday.
Houston last game was a midday game.
Yeah, see, we're okay. I mean, I don't
think it matters. I was just messing around. That's we deep fandom now.
We're fandom, and I agree with you. We have been
in that. If you want to go into deep fandom, like one of my favorite Nuggets games I've ever been to was Game 1 versus the Dallas Mavericks in 2008. And that was a midday game. They won it.
That was a time ago. I'm talking about this team.
I know. I get you. I'm just saying, like, if you want to talk about
we do have our problems. Don't get me wrong. We're not perfect at all. We know what it is. We're just saying if we play our best, if we run, we rebound, we defend, like we know we can.
Play loose.
We can play it with anybody, really.
We have to play loose too and play, as they said, play fun because that's how the Nuggets offense needs to run this year. It has to run with a little bit of relax. So then good offense leads to defense. You know what I mean? We need those type of moments.
Question for you guys. Do you think we're in better shape coming into this playoff? Just in total, team-wise, health-wise, all of it, than we were when we came into last year's? Do you feel like we just limped along into last year's and then Minnesota bit us in the butt? Or do you think we're in better shape now versus how you know?
I think we were a better team last year, but I think we were like you're saying, less prepared to win last year
and tired because we had we had
worn our welcome. We looked honestly we were the Knicks last year. Whereas like the team is good, but the team is on one leg. You know?
But I'll give you that. But plus, the Nuggets have been the hunted every game for 82 games.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
So not only are they dealing with
us too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not only was it a war of attrition, you're getting everyone's best shot because at every game you were their measuring stick because you're the champions.
Yep.
And you weren't deep enough, to your point, to do what Boston's doing, where they could throw out 10 guys and like. You know, if Tatum
and we still wanted to
Brown's hurt. You see,
that point,
it takes a lot out of you. Brown's coming in this playoff injured right now. So being the champion is tough. And like they're coming for you every night. So I think this Nuggets team, to be honest with you, is playing with house money.
Yeah.
And they have no expectations on them outside of, Chopper Circle. Like
and just Nuggets odds. We have expectations.
Yeah, we expect them to get out the first round because that's what I expected them to do in the beginning. And I just think that they should beat the Clippers. That's just my opinion. But like they could very well lose in 7. They could lose in 6, and it's like back to where we were anyway. They have a head coach. They fire this, and now that you have the excuses already built in.
Yeah.
You have them already built in. Thus, meaning you are playing with absolute house money because every series you win, you weren't supposed to do it because your coach got fired the latest in NBA history. Like all these things are stacked against you that if you overcome them,
right.
They have the heart of a champion. And I've been saying this for months. The resiliency in this team is unlike any other I've seen from a Nugget, especially with the Jokic Murray years. Like this team, like early in the season, December, January, they could erase a 10-point lead. Like they're so unflappable. Like that
You're talking this season?
Yes.
Okay.
They are professionals and they will walk you down. And then you saw when it came undone, they just had turmoil internally and the coaching just it stopped resonating. But then you look at in that that game versus Memphis, when they needed to come back and
Yes,
win,
and they did.
they did. It's in there.
Yeah.
And they have the best player in the world. They're playing loosey goosey. It's just my biggest like fear is two things. It's twofold. It's my biggest fear that's been all season, and that's primarily thanks to how the team was constructed, their bench. And the second one is the fear of the unknown with the coach who's never been a playoff coach. But also at the same time, there was once upon a time when Pat Riley had never played in the, it was his first playoffs.
I'm not worried about
it was Phil Jackson's. It was Eric Spoelstra's.
No,
Like,
I get
to
you.
I don't
be
think-
able to be
Yeah.
a great coach, at a point you had to be in the playoffs as a head coach for your first time.
Sure.
So
I think less about him as a coach and more about will he just get out coached by Tyronn Lue, who's just that would be more. I don't think I have a problem with
if
David.
Coach Malone was a coach, we'd be having that conversation too. Was
Yeah.
acting like Coach Malone
But I'm saying,
couldn't have been
honestly,
outcoached by
no.
him.
But what I'm saying is, to me, and this might just be this season in this moment, but I have faith in David Alderman as a coach in this moment, even more than Mike Malone a little bit, because I knew that Mike Malone would keep our team so it'd be 7 guys, you know what I mean? And I just don't think to beat this Clippers team, we can't run a 48-minute game with Jamal, AG, Michael Porter, and Jokic for 6 to 7 games of the series. You're going to need them to have moments where, all right, well, we're up 6, but now we're up 2, but my guy got 5 minutes of rest. You know what I mean? Like that, we're going to have those moments in this series where Jokic can go sit down for a minute. And it's not the whole Jokic plays for a quarter, sits for a quarter, comes back. You know what I'm saying? Those rotational things that were the kind of the Jokic minutes are going to have to get changed in order for us to win. Like all of this matters, right? Like Jamal might need to take a quick second so Russ can play for 3 minutes so Jamal can have his flurry. You know what I mean? Like all of those things have to happen. And I think David Alderman talked about it in his presser. He said he was blessed with an opportunity from Mike Malone to coach a lot of the Nuggets. So he's like 70% of the coaching job I have had more than enough comfortability with over these years. He said the 30% I'm learning on the fly, but it's just my philosophy on basketball anyway. So he's just I'm incorporating
my biggest fear in it is the adjustments. It's his adjustments game to game.
Game by game, yep.
And Malone, he would, for his credit, he did do a good job over the years.
In playoff.
Yeah, in the playoffs, adjustments. Phoenix is the one that comes to mind. I was trying to think of one that I was like, what is the best one? It was Phoenix in the playoff series. Like after those 2 games in Phoenix, how they just crushed us because they were shooting at an 80% clip. Their defense adjustments let in Brucey B roam off ball a lot more. But
this is what I'm saying. Like when you talk about adjustments, is that always from the head coach, or is that not also from the assistant coach and all those guys that are watching the game that are making adjustments in that time? Like, for example, you don't know how much of a role David Adelman played in those adjustments.
Or Popeye Jones,
or Popeye Jones, and all those guys,
and they're still here. Ryan Saunders, like they're still there.
Y'all got to my point. That was what I was gonna make. It's not like he just got here from some other place. Don't know any of the guys. Don't know our system. Don't know who could play this place. Whether he has that one up, and nobody's giving him credit but us right now for having it. And that's why when they say that, I'm like, I mean, no, he's not no Tyronn Lue. I get
But every time he took over as a coach for the Nuggets, whether Mike Malone got kicked out or he was just had COVID or anything, this dude was nothing but a great coach. Like I'm saying, like there's this belief that the Nuggets might need to go with a new coach after the season. I'm not so sure. I think if David Alderman has a great shot this year to upset the people that think the Nuggets are going to lose to the Clippers, take the Thunder to whatever we can do to them, and go from there. I don't think that he should be thinking that this is just fun and done, whatever. I think he has a real chance to Kristoff, show that he can make adjustments in the playoff,
right?
Show that he can lead a team in the playoff, and prove that, hey, I want this job as much as anybody, and I know this team more than anybody.
And we'll know tomorrow.
We'll know by game 2.
Game 1 or 2, because if we see that he can sense that the team needs a break, or he sees that motivation is getting away from us, or if he sees that momentum has changed, and he calls a timeout properly, he's far and away better than a whole lot of coaches.
Before we get into
to your point,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and to that point, also he can also touch on those experiences too. Like when we're in the bubble, this happened.
Yeah.
During the championship run, this
Yeah.
happened. In the years when we didn't have Maul, this happened.
Right.
He has those experiences too because he was on the bench.
Yeah.
So he can pull from that experience base and tap into it because he was sitting there on the bench next to Malone, next to Maul, next to Jokic.
I've always thought like he was the next guy. I'm surprised he hasn't had a job. You know what I mean? He was another one when we won the championship.
Yeah.
I know they poached Wes Ansel, but I think Wes Ansel was it Wes Ansel even on that championship team?
Mm-mm.
He was already gone.
Coach.
Exactly. Wes Ansel was gone. Wes Ansel Jr. Should I keep saying. He was gone. Adelman kept. I was like, I'm surprised no one's poached this guy. Every time I thought that. So I have belief in him, but we'll see.
We got some stuff in the whole, we got some stuff in our backpacks that we could pull out and surprise folk with.
Predictions on the series.
Before predictions, and maybe this will go into predictions. I think it's important to point out, and this has been, I guess, if there's been any faith throughout this podcast this year, it has been the fact that Jokic took the 12 best basketball players to the brink of elimination.
We say,
in the Olympics. Because I say this every podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if he can do that,
right,
he can dang sure lead this team to beat the Clippers.
That's what I said.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
darn near, they were scared to death with 3 minutes.
They were scared. If you go watch the Court of Gold, them dudes, I ain't never seen them. LeBron's won championships, and I've seen his shoulders lean back the way they did against that one. Curry, all of them. KD's sitting there eating with his family. Like, oh, I know we gonna win the gold medal now. They were shook in that game. They wasn't like they knew that. I mean, they're the best players in the world. It's not like they didn't think they couldn't win the game, but there was a moment in that game where they're like, we have to have all hands on deck.
Yeah,
this game.
come on.
It was like real life Avengers where they're like.
Yeah, we're down here,
bro,
but we ain't out, and we ain't out. We're better than
we got a Hulk, we got a KD, we got a Curry, but it's gonna take all of us to win.
And it did.
And so if I'm saying that to say,
yep, you're right.
Nikola Jokic is not only coming off the best season of his career.
Yep.
He's also done some stuff that's been heroic. If he can lead this team to we should beat the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be blah blah blah, but. I do think, to Jokic, I think it would be disappointing if you can't figure out how to win this. These are the type of games that,
we're not talking about
when you're the best player in the world.
We're talking about a series.
Yeah, I'm saying these are the type of series, when you're the best player in the world, you figure out a way to win. Like Kobe, I'm not even joking. Go look at those 09 teams. Some of the people Kobe played with on those teams, darn sure wouldn't have been NBA players outside of it. He had Pau Gasol, and he had Bynum that was really nice, and he had what's his name, Ariza. And of course he had old head guy and D Fish.
Yeah.
Besides that, bro, there are some real life bums on that team. No disrespect. No disrespect because they're all champions. But there are some dudes that was not that great that he led to championship wins. Jokic is in a similar situation where it's you're the best player in the world. You gotta yield this team especially if you have a great starting five. You gotta yield this team. You gotta be willing to do it. So my prediction to go all in that. I got Nuggets in 6. Hopefully, that's my Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6 for me.
And it could be Nuggets in 7.
I don't want to do 3 6s.
I would say I could say Nuggets. I could say Nuggets in 7, but I think it's gonna be 6.
It's 6.
Just so there's no 3 6s, especially not on Good Friday.
Yeah, right.
I'm doing Nuggets in 7, even though it's wink wink. You know what I want to say.
I bet you gonna say. I'm gonna say,
well.
Clippers, Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
I was gonna say that.
The reason why I'm saying it is I'm like dot on. I think they're gonna win one of the home games, but I hope they win 2. Then the Clippers are gonna come back with a vengeance because they're gonna feel like it, and then that 4th game is gonna be a slugfest. And if we win that, there we go.
Yeah, I think the game 1 I think goes to the Nuggets. Game 2, I think the Clippers could steal one, and then everyone's gonna start going crazy.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna lose. The Nuggets are gonna lose game 2, so they're gonna be down 2-1. And I think that's when the alarm.
You mean 1-1? No, the 1-1.
No. They're gonna be down 2-1 after going into game 4. Then I think.
So you think the Clippers are gonna win 2 together? You're gonna think Nuggets?
Yeah, I think the Clippers win game 2, game 3, and game 6. And the Nuggets win
I'll tell you this. This is not a series the
4,
Nuggets will be
5,
playing from
7.
behind.
No,
And
they
and
don't.
here and the other thing is like it's one game behind. I know it's still behind, but I think the
Oh, no,
Nuggets
you're
will
good.
right.
I'm just saying
I
in
think
general.
because I think that being down 2-1 on the road will show me everything I need to know about this team going forward. Because I think that will be the reason they beat OKC is because they were down 2-1 against the Clippers on the road heading into game 4. That's just my prediction. And I said it, it's in the world now. And the other thing is I keep hearing people say Clippers in 7. What that means to me is that the Nuggets lost 2 straight game 7s at home
No way.
in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think my guys get down like that. That's
No, they
that's
don't.
just my opinion.
Because the other one, we know why they lost.
I think
know
if
why
they
they
lose,
lost.
I think if they lose, they're losing in 6.
Yeah.
They're not losing game 7 twice. I pray they don't, but I
Not
just
at
don't
home.
think
Not at home.
I
And
just
they're
don't
not
think
that
that's how
tired
it's
this year. We just talked about them coming
Yeah, they're
in
not
that season
tired.
a
They're
little,
not
a
bad.
little better. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the not Nuggets. We can start with the plans. We'll kind of go through the plans pretty quick.
Yeah.
Magic won their game against, remind me of the team now. I'm actually forgetting. They played
The
who did the
Hawks.
match? They played the Hawks. They played the Hawks. Hawks tonight will play the Heat to go into the 8th seed to play against the Cavs. And on the West, you have Golden State versus Memphis in a probably one of my favorite playing games besides maybe when LeBron and Curry went at it. But this was a great game. Curry went off, came back. I mean, beat the well, not came back. They kind of led from the whole game, but it was close. Ja Morant got a little hurt. Difference in the game. Golden State wins. They'll be playing the Rockets. Grizzlies will be playing the Dallas Mavericks because the Dallas Mavericks beat the
The
Kings.
The
Kings.
10 seeds, the 10
Klay
beat the
Thompson
9s. The 10
hooped
seeds
out.
beat the 9s.
Klay Thompson, classic. As they say, Game 6 Klay was in the building that
Oh,
game.
Klay was in the
It
building.
was playing Kille.
Yeah.
Playing Game 6 Klay.
Yeah.
And now it's Game 7 Klay tonight because they have to win.
But they also had, let's give him some props. I like my boy, but I try not to like with his Laker. AD was
Oh,
showing.
yeah, AD. I mean,
AD
was
always
playing
shows
well,
in the
yeah.
playoffs.
So
He
now
does.
that game. What do you can go quick around the horn? Do you think got Grizzlies or Dallas?
Well, I'm gonna say I got Dallas.
I'm going with Iguodala.
I'm going with I think let me reason why I say Dallas. This will be the first
I
time.
want Dallas. Give me Dallas because I
want
think
Dallas.
Dallas will be able to beat the
Yeah.
OKC.
Here's
Let's
the
put it like
thing.
this, Pod. Let's put it like this. I'm no OKC. I don't care who wins the championship if the Nuggets don't do it, as long as not OKC.
Yeah, me too.
I said it.
Here's the thing. The reason why I think it's gonna why you say why did Dallas without Luka all that? Because they got AD and they got a playoff, they got a killer Clay. If they play like that, I don't know how good Ja's gonna be because Ja turned his ankle in that game, the play-in game. And Jared Jackson is AD is gonna just have his way with him, I think.
All I have to say is remove all sharp objects and tall buildings from Memphis fan sites. Because if you go from being the 2 seed in the West, fast forward 3 weeks, and you don't even make the playoffs,
They shouldn't have fired the coach. That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies because Ja Morant has been playing great basketball.
Except he hurt his ankle.
Desmond Bane went off last game, so if they can put those pieces together for a one game against Dallas, I think they have a shot to win. Let's go to my Eastern Conference Pistons versus the Knicks. I told y'all I'm taking my, and the reason why I said my, because I want to take my victory lap about these Pistons and Cade Cunningham. I told y'all on this podcast, go listen to any podcast or all around. I was the only one on this podcast.
Let's not do that because I went back and actually listened to some, and I've been high on the Rockets, and they're the 2 seed. But it's all
we
good.
knew the Rockets was gonna be good. We knew that was less of a.
And I immediately agreed with you on the Pistons.
When they're down, when they only won 10 games last year. Still told you the Pistons.
Before y'all go there, can we finish up the play-ins, 10s and the sevens?
Oh, I got
the Heat or the Hawks?
I got the Heat.
I mean, for
the Heat's a 10.
For future reasons, I had to go with the Hawks, but like I as I sit here in beautiful Miami, Florida, I had to go with the Heat.
I'm with the Heat. So we're picking the 10s to beat these 7s, and this will be the first time that in play-in history
A
that
10 will make
a
it.
10's going to win. And we're calling for two of them to win.
Oh.
But that's who
Now
we
I got
got.
Grizzlies on the other one.
But they're not average 10s because if you think about it, like
They're not.
the Heat were in the championship all of 2 years
Sure.
ago, and
Dallas
Dallas was in the
AD
championship
and
last
Shooting.
season.
Yeah.
So and then they lost their two pillars that took them to those championships. Sure, yes, but I don't think they're not your
Core
average
still
10s.
there. Those are core.
Yeah.
They can win 2 games and make it to the playoffs. They're that type of teams.
Yeah. So we'll see.
And I think Dallas could honestly take OKC to
6 games.
5 games, 5 or 6.
I was like, at best, I thought you're going to high. I was like, at best 6. But anyways,
I'd rather see. I know we want to move on, but I'd rather see the Dallas play the OKC than John Morant.
All right,
Chris
John
said
Morant,
that'd be
yeah, that's true.
You
No,
know.
because the thing is, like AD and Kyrie,
Yeah.
instead, like, come on, and Clay, that's just a tough matchup.
And I know it's not Nuggets, but from a Nuggets perspective, we just need whatever team that's going to take them further. Like we don't want them let them have a longer series, whatever it is.
Give them a little bit of deal.
All right, Pistons, Knicks, round the horn. Who you got?
Well,
I got Knicks in 7.
I got Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6 for me. Is Brunson playing?
Yeah, that's why. Only because Brunson and Cat are going to be playing. That's why.
Cat. Yeah, I think
and to Kristoff's legendary point, he says every time. So like when you have to learn how to put teams out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the Pistons, I just think as great as they're playing this year, I could see them being up in this series and not figuring out how to knock out Brunson and them. So
It's a hard thing to do.
that would be my guess. I think the Pistons will take an early lead in this series, but I think Brunson. I've seen Brunson in the playoffs too many times. This dude's a dog.
Yeah.
Let's go to Boston Magic. That is the nicest sweep I've seen all day. Does anybody else got anything there?
Nah, Boston.
No, I feel like you broke more of a sweat saying those 2 words, Boston versus Magic.
At best,
than the
that
Celtics will. Yeah,
I think that's the best.
Celtics in 4 easy ones.
Celtics in 4.
At best, if we're doing a spread, it's 0.5.
Do you remember how the Nuggets had the
4.5.
closest sweep in the history of sweeps?
Yeah, Celtics in
a
4.
few years ago against the Lakers. This will be the easiest sweep in the history of sweeps.
Yeah.
Paulo might go off for 41 game and make it a 5-game series at best. Let's go Bucks to Pacers.
The 4-5 over there. These 2 teams hate each other.
They really do.
And prayers up for Dame.
Dame's
Dame
supposed to be back. They said that this morning. I heard it.
If Dame is there, it gets interesting. I think the Bucks are a sleeping giant. I think the Bucks are a sleeping giant, but Indiana is the 4 seed, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I can't underestimate that. I want to say the Bucks, but I think it might be Indiana in.
I think they go to Game 7, and it's a pick 'em.
Yeah. So if it does go to Game 7, I'll give the lead to Giannis and Dame, because if that means if it's Game 7 and they're both there, I think Dame might be able to put out a team better. If it's 6, it goes Pacers. That one's a toss up to me for real. It really depends on Dame's health. I do think that the Bucks have a better chance of pushing Boston to a Game 7. So for Eastern Conference purposes, you might want the Bucks to make it to the next round. Lakers, Minnesota.
Ooh. I gotta pick the Lakers.
And what?
To win.
And how many games?
Oh, it's gonna go 6 or 7.
Yeah.
They're going 6 or 7. 6. Lakers in 6.
They got Lakers in 6.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Lakers in 6.
Yeah.
I just think Luka and LeBron is just gonna be a tough out.
Yeah.
And I just don't think Minnesota losing, like letting Cat walk with trading Cat. That was
the only way you're gonna beat the Lakers is have a big man like the Nuggets with size.
Yeah, you gotta have a big man.
They don't have
the sad thing's like the Minnesota's best team was last season.
It was.
But they had their eyes fixed on the wrong thing. They wanted to beat the Nuggets. They didn't want to win a championship. They had a championship team, but their goals were beating the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Cat.
They got their goal.
They got rid of Cat and they replaced him. It's fine, but it ain't Cat, and that's what I say. It's not. And Anthony Edwards has improved. greatly. And what's their wing defender?
DiVincenzo?
No.
Oh, I know you're talking about. He's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
McDaniels.
McDaniels. He's all of that.
Well, I think McDaniels has a shot to make this series tough for Austin Reeves, so it's gonna be just LeBron. I think LeBron and
pick your poison. He's gonna have to put him on somebody, and whoever he puts on, the other ones are gonna be
Golden State versus Houston.
Oh, Houston.
Golden State in 6.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I think Houston in 6.
Really? I think Golden State in 7.
I honestly want to say Golden State in 5, but I'm gonna say Golden State in 6.
Golden State, I just think it's Houston.
I'm not hating on Houston. I think Amon Thompson's gonna have I think people are gonna really know that name and appreciate that name in this series. I've watched Houston over and over again this year. They have absolutely no closer. Like they have no one that's.
They got defense.
They have to play ahead. Like
they got defense.
They got defense, but they have no closer. And I think if we're talking about NBA playoffs, the most thing that we're talking about closing teams and closing series.
Yeah.
Golden State has that in abundance with Curry. Fred VanVleet will never be able to guard Curry.
No.
That's good. Draymond is going to be guarding Sagoon, and you know what he likes to do against European people. Now, but he's going to lock up Sagoon in a lot of ways. I mean, Sagoon's going to he's going to play well, but it's not going to be a great series for him.
Yeah, he's self-appointing himself
Jimmy
defensive
Butler
player of the year.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just saying Jimmy Butler can play anybody on that team defensively.
Yeah.
So now we got a lot of their best guys. Yeah, Jimmy Butler on Jalen Green. Okay, have fun with that, Jalen Green. We're taking out some of your best players, and then you still got to figure out how to close a game. So I just think it's going to go State.
You're saying a big E word is what you're missing. Experience.
Yeah.
In terms of experience, okay. I mean, Houston is the 7th seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you have a team over there coached by a coach that has unbeknownst championships as a player, 4 as a head coach, led by the best shooter of all time that has 4 championships himself, questing for another one, with Jimmy Butler, who's gone to the finals 2 times this decade. You know what I mean? Most recently 2 years ago. Yeah. Draymond's got 4. Like, their core is so darn experienced, and you're going to sit here and tell me some upstarts are going to upstage them? No matter how good they are, no matter how well they're coached, I just don't think it's going to happen. I give them talent and ability 3 games. I can't give them that 4th.
Yep. So sounds like what we have from the West is Nuggets versus Thunder in the second round, Lakers and Golden State second round.
Yeah.
That's the Just Nuggets podcast.
ESPN will love.
I know. They want that so bad. Round. Golden State versus that. This dude Adam Silver already got blessed with the Luka going to.
Come on now.
He said it in very slightly on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, where he's like, "This season the Raiders been a little better." Of course, they were better this year. So if they get LeBron and Curry in another matchup for 6-7 game series, they lose.
And then that banks that you're gonna have them in the Western Conference Finals. So one of the two, that's good.
One of the two, yeah.
Here's my question for both of you: whose legacy across the league is most impacted by winning a championship this season? What player's legacy?
Is this our 2 minutes remaining?
I think it's hard to answer.
No, this is we have another 2 minutes remaining.
I'll say this is gonna be hard to answer question. One person, because I think there's 3 guys I'm looking at that are gonna have major implications.
Who are they?
And I don't want to take all you all, so maybe we just go around the horn and then just come back to me.
All right, ladies first.
James Harden.
James Harden. Way to pull that one out of the ether.
He's a Hall of Famer, they say. He's been an all-star for many times.
You should have said Aaron Gordon. You should have said AG. That would have been
James Harden getting the MVS championship would be incredible for his career.
Got it.
But what about Russell? I feel like Russ and Harden's, they kind of both do the same thing for me. Harden's probably goes a little bit further because he's still he's the guy. You know, he would have had more reason of getting to that championship. You know what I mean?
Well, if you ask
Russ would be along for the ride if he gets this.
Yeah, if you ask any ESPN analyst, they think that Clippers are going to beat the Nuggets. So they feel they're going to beat the Nuggets because now they have Kawhi and James Harden being James Harden at the point. And they have, people who are gonna take them out all the way through. I've known people, I could tell you Charles Barkley picked the Clippers to win it all. Guaranteed. That's what he said. And I was like,
here's my thing.
So I say
Harden, Donovan Mitchell. Like, I don't know. I feel like a championship does more for Jason Tatum's career than Harden's, but that's just me.
Jason Tatum already have one.
I know, but that's getting a second one takes him to a tier that he's not currently in.
It's hard for me to understand that Jason Tatum's going to get another one before Joker gets a second one.
But it could very well happen.
That's why I think will happen.
I think obviously the biggest one for me is Nikola Jokic, because you would make him. He's top 3 center. Let's back up all the way to not Nuggets. The dude just averaged a 30-point triple-double on the season.
Sure.
Like, what? And the fact that he's not going to even win the MVP is asinine. But sure, there's people in Milwaukee, there's people in Phoenix, there's people in Philadelphia who think that their guy should have got a MVP one of the years that he got one. Sure, I'm with you. I hear you, because there's 2 MVPs floating out there. One's going to be in Philadelphia, and the one's already in Philadelphia. The other one's going to be in Oklahoma City. That this dude definitively should have got. Yes, SGA won 60 some odd games. Yes, he averaged 32 points. But guess what? I've seen somebody win 70 games. I've seen people win 68 games. I've seen people average 32 points. I've seen them be top 5 in defense and top 5 in offense in a season. I've seen that. What I've never seen is a center average a 30-point triple-double and be the top 5 in 5 different categories. Come on, I know I'm preaching to a
steals. They say he doesn't defense.
But let me say,
the defense, like, he's top 2 in steals, right there with SGA. So I think if Jokic was to do this after his coach got fired and wins a championship, bro, like, he's deified. This was his NBA. Thank you for coming to the show.
And so that's all I have to say about that. Don't shut him again. Because the last time you shunned him, we did win a world championship.
Okay.
And so this time,
here's what I'll say.
Perhaps you.
And on a slide note, I'm so sorry to Kyle. I'll let you do your 3. This is my second one. If Ant gets a championship, now he's in a different stratosphere.
You're dreaming. We're dreaming.
That's true.
I know he's dreaming.
That's why I said this would
put him in a different category.
This is not a one-person answer. So that's why I said there's 3 people. Christoph, you said the first one, but I will still go into a little detail, right? If Nikola wins this championship, he's in the top 10 best players in NBA history, and I'm just gonna say that right now. And to your point, Christoph, with another championship, he would jump Olajuwon. He would jump Wilt Chamberlain. So he'd literally be in the conversation of Bill Russell, Shaq. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Say what you must. I mean, at that point, it's all about championships. It's less about stats. So he has to keep getting his championships. That was the only people he'd be behind when it comes to centers in the NBA of all time.
And because we're not going to say that Timmy Duncan was a center.
Yeah, we're going to call him power forward. Because, if we put him in, then Jokic step behind him.
Right.
Not to mention, as Christoph also said, he would be doing this with a coach that just his coach got fired before that. Yeah. So when we start talking narratives, we're gonna be like, this is one of the most important championships he's ever gotten.
I'm gonna tell y'all, I know I'm a fan. I know I call it just Janet, just Nuggets. I get it. I think Nuggets getting it done. I just do. I do. You know, it's nail that down, and you can back at me.
I felt the same. I told y'all this last podcast, and then this Nuggets fans, Denver Broncos fans hate me for this, but I did say the same thing with Pat when they won that Miami. Patrick Mahomes, baby goat. When he beat Miami in that cold, I was like, bro, I don't bet against Pat. That's the feeling you're feeling. Like I was like, regardless, I'm not betting against Jokic. Yeah. I get you on that. My second 2, I'll go a little bit faster. Obviously, LeBron wins number 5. He would become, I think, to most people that still have Jordan over him, hopefully this would be the one that gets LeBron over Jokic. MJ as the best of all time.
Or at least they're
5.
Neck
you win your 5th one at the age of 40 plus. Like, come on, let's stop having these conversations. Mm-hmm. That's just me. I'm a young bull, so LeBron's he's my GOAT, but I say Jordan's the GOAT. But at that point, it would just be LeBron. Second. Curry. I don't think people understand how bad a Curry championship would be for LeBron's legacy. This man Curry would get 5 rings in the LeBron era. Like for real. Like he'd have more championships than LeBron in his era. There would be no question. You couldn't
Era.
at that point, LeBron, I know this they did this sounds like the Pat Mahomes were like, if he wins, he's better than Tom Brady. If he loses, he'll never be better than Tom Brady. But this is how it kind of feels like that. It's like, dude, if Curry gets 5 in your era and you only get 4 to your
I don't think we
career,
have to worry about
I
it,
don't
though.
think people are gonna be so
We
quick
don't
to
have
say
to worry about
LeBron
that.
is better than MJ. So as my GOAT, I'm like, shoot, I don't know. It's not gonna look great because them MJ people gonna have a lot to say. So I would just
Sorry, I'm just gonna now you guys gonna make fun of me because I'm about to cast a blanket. But if Giannis gets the second one, that does a lot for me.
Yeah, Giannis.
If Giannis gets it, that means that
Dame
Dame got it, and I think
Yeah.
that submits Dame as an all-time.
Correct. You're
Yeah.
right.
We can move on because I think every single team has someone because I think Donovan Mitchell becomes
Yeah.
we look at him totally different.
Yeah.
If I think it's a win, but win Jaylen Brown and that you got to put them in the hierarchy of like great all-time duos.
Celtics.
Let me tell y'all one thing. You said it.
Hell,
best.
if Paulo gets it done, like that's not happening.
That's
Kate,
not-
you know, all these, but the true contenders. And then if SGA, this is the elephant in the room. We all don't want to talk about it, it's true. But if SGA does win a championship this season, which could very well happen, this would be one of the best individual seasons of all
Oh
time.
yeah, he'd be on
Start
that
to finish.
Cooper Cup. This be a Cooper Cup year.
This would be a Cooper Cup year for him, where he was the dog of all dogs from start to finish. Won almost 70 games, won
Playoffs
16
ain't regular
playoffs.
season. And I'm gonna say this. I was gonna say.
And he did it with the team that's average age is under 25.
Yeah.
So-
See, he would be Supermanish. He would be Superman because they have never even been. Have they been out of the
that franchise has never won a championship either.
Yeah. So that'd be a lot.
That'd be a big one for him.
That's a big.
That'd be a big one.
Boston. You were talking about Boston. I think that the reason why I'm so hard to say that Nuggets could do this, even though Boston won one last year, you said it, Christoph, you said that it is hard to get it back to back. Okay. And that's why Jaylen Brown is now a little bit gimpy because they had to play so hard to stay in the number 1 or 2 spots. Okay.
She's always called somebody's injury out. I've never heard anybody ever say that this dude Jaylen Brown hurt. Now that's like the only way they're gonna win. If Jaylen,
No, he is.
at least if you
hurt.
said KP.
No. Jaylen Brown is hurt, Kyle.
He
He
is
hurt
hurt.
his knee.
Yeah,
He hurt his
he's
knee a
hurt.
few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it still remains. Jays will be calling out
She's
somebody.
calling out Kawhi. She's talking
No,
about
her
well,
Hall of
Victor
Fame one is
Wembanyama might
Jokic's
not be
wrist.
good in the NBA. He's a little under. He could get
Remember
hurt.
Jokic's wrist during the
Yeah,
during
oh,
the
yeah,
championship
his
run?
shoulder.
It's like,
She's
oh,
quick to
his
call
wrist
injury
was
out.
his wrist was hurting.
Yeah, quick
Yeah.
to call an injury. All right, let's go to the actual 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes remaining.
Well, as you know, the season's over, and as always, we're gonna recap the season. So, what was your favorite? Christoph, I'll let you go
Yeah,
first
you
because
go.
I already know what yours is. So just get your victory lap. What was your favorite moment of the Nuggets season?
The Nuggets.
Oh. My favorite of the Nuggets season, it's probably my favorite. Next to them winning a championship, this is my favorite. Okay, it goes since 2020. It goes Nuggets win a championship, and then their second, the bubble. You know, then the number 3 was Calvin Booth getting fired. Oh my God, that was
I thought we were gonna get through a
like
podcast.
favorite. I'm like still happy. Like even to what you just said, Jays. Like how I feel about the hope
It's
of
like
the
us
Nuggets
when
winning the
Carmelo.
championship. It literally has to do with the fact. Shout out to Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony, by the way. Thank
Shout
you
out
for
to
saying
Melo,
his
man.
name.
Shout out
We didn't even
Melo.
say that. He got in to the Hall of Fame twice on one swoop. Shout out to
Let's go,
Nuggets
Melo.
legend Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Shout out. Back to Fire and Calvin Booth. That's one of the happiest Nuggets moments of my life. Straight up. It's got to be in the top 10, to be completely honest with you, because I never wanted something so badly. And in fact, it happened. It's given me such restored life as a Nuggets fan and hope for this postseason. So, Calvin Booth, I hope you are somewhere. You don't deserve to be in Cancun sipping a Corona. You deserve to be somewhere totally isolated. Hopefully it's cold and you're watching Nuggets on a very bad stream that's really glitchy.
Are you
And
done?
you gotta and it's buffering the whole time too.
Are you
That's
done?
what I
All
hope
right.
you're
We
doing.
get it.
Are you done? That was your favorite moment?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
On the court, it was the 60. I know it was a bad end, but the 61, 10 and 10 game.
my favorite. My
22.
favorite moment was Calvin Booth getting fired. I'm sorry. I'm with you, man. I don't think.
I love that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my.
This was going. I'm sorry. He had to go. That is my favorite moment too.
I appreciate
I
that.
know. I pulled the heel switch. He thought that's my favorite moment. That's my favorite moment.
Mine is.
That.
Mine is, and I know it's just one thing, but it was just one. I just can't get over it yet. When Joker hit from 3/4 of the court,
I'll do it back.
just one hand throwing it up and hitting the basket when we reached the point. And if I remember correctly, which you don't hold me to it, but I think we needed every point in that game to win it that day.
Which one? Are you talking about the Euro one?
Yeah.
Where you went off the Euro. Yeah, that was.
Oh, okay. My favorite Nuggets moment. Nuggets, since y'all both went Jokic with the 60s and then the throw. My favorite one was against Gold State. That win was incredible. They shouldn't have won that game. They
was only up like 8 seconds.
When they had like their whole backup bench team.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, when AG came back and put on that.
AG came out.
Yeah,
and it's funny because Christoph, to your point where you talk about they just have it in them. The Nuggets have this weird thing where like you can see kind of early in the game, you're like, no, this might be a special moment. This might be a special moment game. And that one was real early. I was like, wait, they have 5? They have 10? Yeah. It's like AG keeps making that shot. Oh, this guy keeps making it was that was like we won the
playoff year when we were, I don't know who we were playing, but then MPJ, since we started with MPJ, we're gonna end with MPJ. MPJ came out and started hitting those threes. I think he hit like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 or something. He went off early, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a good game. And we ended up winning, and then, of course, we won it all. But when those moments when you see them. I hope we have one tomorrow.
Well, this is the Just Nuggets podcast. As you know, playoff, we like to have a lot of great conversations. We'll be breaking down the series. We're breaking down the series. So, do you have something else?
I mean, this is related to Nuggets general. We were just going to the Carmelo Anthony thing. Is there a whole lot of conversation? I just want to be clear about what I feel on this podcast about getting this number up and Joker wearing it or whatever. I mean, y'all are in control. You can make the rules, owners. You fired a coach 3 games before the end of the season. You certainly could put up 2 15s.
Yeah, so it's like the easiest conversation.
It's kind of easy. I don't know what the deal is. Just because everywhere else you put up a number and it gets retired, you can just put it up with his name on it to the rafters. And when Joker gets done, of course, his is going up. Do it.
And it's so funny because it's like, dude, you guys realize the Nuggets wouldn't even have won a championship without Carmelo.
No.
Carmelo's so interweaved into this whole Nuggets thing. It's ridiculous. The again, everybody knows this. Listens, but the trade for Carmelo to the Knicks got us Jamal Murray.
Yeah. So
it's like you can't even be like, oh well, look, I can't believe Carmelo, and I'm never gonna forgive him. It's like forgiving him means you won a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can always look at that. And not to mention, Carmelo, you can't name 5 Nuggets better than Carmelo. No, so it's just like it's just pure foolishness.
Last point to it as well is if you're a Nuggets fan who's also a Denver Broncos fan, you're just a hypocrite because you're like, oh, that's just weird that there's 2 numbers retired of one person. There's 2 people for one number. Frank Chapuka's number was retired, and then they retired with Peyton Manning's name on it too. So when you go to watch a Broncos game, you look at 18. You see 2 names by one number.
Yeah.
So
this is not far.
It's not.
I'm just saying, like, retire them both. Like 15 is let's put it like this: if there's somebody else that came along, even if it's my son who tried to wear 15 for the Nuggets, I'd be upset. Because that is Nikola Jokic and
I think what happened,
and those are the only 2 that should ever wear it again, because those are the 2 people. Because I do look at the 15 and I do think of Melo, and I look at the 15, I think of Nikola, and that's how it is. And I think for somebody who's my age, who's Dot's age, hell, even your age, Jace, like if you think about the Denver Nuggets, you cannot not think about those two individuals. And the
That
fact they
big
share one
impact
number
life on
is
the team.
actually probably better for the organization because that's one
Yeah.
less number you get to retire.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the moment where it could have been severed, not where severed, but when they could have came back together was when the Nuggets when we won in 2023. I wish Melo just came to one court side and sat down or something. That'd have been huge.
Thank you, Doc. So Melo, if you're listening to this, can you come to one of the games? Can you just come and sit on the front row with your son at a Nuggets game? That will get you so much, cred. It'll be beneficial to you.
And what I don't,
you do it for the Knicks. You go to all the Knicks
That's what I'm
playoff
saying.
games. So you can fly to Denver, get a ticket on the front row with your son, watch a Nuggets game, and afterwards dap up the whole team.
Yeah.
Go over there and talk with Joker. You'll be up there. Okay.
Yeah, it's like this weird. It's like this weird thing where it's like both sides know Carmelo's impact, and yet like we try to act like we don't know this man's impact to the point where it's like, come on, man. Like he's gonna be retired as a Knick. Like, come on, y'all know where you know where his impact was at. I'm not saying the Knicks won one series with this dude. I don't care how much New York loves this dude, Carmelo Anthony. They can say he's a legend in their city. One series win.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I shouldn't talk too much because he only got 2 in Denver, right?
Oh, it's okay.
but we went to a Western Conference Finals, dang it.
But that's double the
as a
amount
season ticket
he got
holder,
anyway.
as a season ticket holder,
And if it
back in
wasn't
the
for that
day,
darn Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
he might have got a
as
championship.
a season ticket holder back in the day, early before Joker, it was Carmelo, and before him it was Rocky, because that's what we
Yep.
were going for.
That's how
we
bad
would
it
watch.
was.
It was bad. We'd watch Rocky.
That's why I know this podcast has gone a little bit long, but I also must say that's really why Rocky's the number one mascot in the league, because that man perfected that crowd.
Oh,
he was the
God.
only one that was bringing people to the Nugget Stadium at a certain point.
bringing
Him and the opponents. So I get when people are like, "Dang, I'm so mad that guy didn't play." Because when we were young, like we would go watch the Magic because Tracy McGrady's coming, or the Lakers because Kobe was playing.
Yes.
That's kind of how it worked. Yeah.
And then of course, we get to see Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay, so before that, but when Carmelo came, season tickets holders loved it. Plus, they got more and we were relevant again in the world of NBA. So I know we did this. We digress, but we don't digress because we're talking about just Nuggets, and he certainly was. And so let's get that on the
All
table.
right, let's go win this game 1 from the
Yes.
Just Nuggets podcast. My name is K. Collie, your favorite podcast point guard. JJ's, welcome to another. Thank you for another episode.
Yep.
Christoph Yalich, thank you again for another episode. You can find us on X at Just Nuggets Pod. Go Nuggets.
Go Nuggets.
Go Nuggets.